Hey y'all, Michelle here with My Designs in the Chaos, where it's our goal to develop, encourage, and grow your crafting talent and confidence. And this month, school is back in session, crafting school that is. And today, we're creating some holiday garland that's perfect for you to be able to decorate your home with. I absolutely love decorating my home with garland. I like putting it on my mantle. I like putting it in my kids' rooms. I like putting it on my Christmas tree. Basically anywhere I can put garland, I love decorating with it. And so when I found this garland online, I thought, holy smokes, look at that price tag. I bet you I could get a really similar look to this, but for just a few bucks. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be creating a dupe of this holiday garland. Now, the file for this is inside our Club Chaos membership. We'd love for you to come join us in there. Feel free to learn more at the link below. Now, let's take a look at the supplies that we're going to need for this project. We're going to use twine. That's what I'm going to use as the base of my garland. We're also going to use these table tennis balls, and I'm going to spray paint them this pink color so that those are going to be like the berries on our garland. And then I'm going to use my scraper, because my scraper is what helps me get my paper off of my cutting mat. My spatula, I should say. This is called a spatula. And then I'm also going to have a pair of scissors. They're always good to have on hand when you're crafting. And then I have my gold glitter paper. It's not double-sided because I'm going to be attaching it to the leaves. But then I have my green that I'm going to be using for my actual leaves. This is double-sided. So you'll want the paper that you're going to use for your leaves to actually be double-sided. And then we're also going to use this craft bond. This is what we're going to use to attach the gold paper to the green paper. And then that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing that we're going to want to do, take this table tennis, lay these out on a piece of cardboard, and go head out and spray paint them so that they have time to dry while we're cutting our leaves. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now, because what we're spray painting is round and can roll around really easily, I'm going to recommend that you spray paint them inside a box so this doesn't happen. You want it to happen like this instead. While they're in that box, you can spray and you can move it around, and it's really, really easy to keep them all in one spot. Then you want to go ahead and put those ping pong balls or table tennis balls out in the sun or just in a dry, ventilated area so that they can make sure to dry really, really well. Now it's time for us to go ahead and put together the rest of the garland pieces while we're waiting for those little holly accents to dry. We need to actually cut our leaves and our gold that's going to go on our leaves. Now, I'm not going to put gold on every single leaf. The cool thing about this is that you can use either gold paper or you can use also some kind of a gold paint. Totally personal preference. If you want to freehand and get fun there with the paint, or if you just want to cut out the insides and have some gold accents like that. I'm just going to use some gold accents for today's project, but remember, take this idea and run with it. Do what you think looks best for you and your home. Now that we have each of our items cut, I want to take a moment and show you my favorite way to remove the paper off of the cutting mat. Because if you don't pull it off correctly, it can actually curl up on you, and that's not going to be very helpful as we're trying to put our holiday garland together. So let me show you my favorite way to be able to remove paper off of a cutting mat. So once you've laid your paper down, I'm actually using double-sided paper so that from either side of the garland, it looks like it's green. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna flip my mat over, and I'm going to use this spatula. Most spatulas don't have all this green paint on them. That's just from my kids. But I'm just gonna use this to help me gently remove the paper off of the sticky cutting mat, because you do want to make sure that your mat is sticky, because if it's not sticky, it's not going to cut the paper really well. So if you're having problems cutting your paper, it could be because your mat's not sticky enough. So I'm just going to use this to remove all the leaves and all the paper remnants off of my mat. And then I still have a couple of these little circles on there. Let me grab these off. Push those off to the side. And then now we've got, this is the part that we don't need, scraps. And these are our leaves. And so I'm going to make sure each of the circles are pulled out here of the leaves. Those should all pretty much be out. Here's one here. Just remove that. And there we go. And so you're going to want to cut as many leaves as you think you're going to need for your garland. So this is our stack of leaves that we're going to be working with today. Now, I'm going to also cut out some insides so that I can accent some of these with gold. Now that everything is cut, let's go ahead and start assembling it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the green holly leaves that we've already cut, and we're going to be folding them in half. That's going to give them a little bit of character, a little bit of dimension as they're laying out on this piece of garland. We're also going to be folding the gold inside pieces in half. Now, you don't have to fold every single piece, but you do just want to make sure that it has a little bit of dimension. That helps give it a little bit of movement. gonna start building my garland. I'm gonna plan out about how long I want it to be so I can start from one side. Because if you start here on the end and you tie it on, there's nowhere else for it to go. So we're gonna kind of plan out about how long we want this garland to be. And that looks about good. We don't want it to be too big. It's just gonna go right over the mantle. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put it all the way at one end, and I'm gonna make sure, again, I leave some space, and then I'm just gonna give it a little tie right here. I'm just gonna knot it right there. It doesn't have to be super tight, just enough to keep that leaf in place. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to funnel on one that has gold on it. I'm gonna kind of space it out a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put a little knot in it. If you want your garland to be bigger and more full, then make sure that you place your leaves really close together. If you want it to be a little more spread out, then make sure that you go ahead and leave that spacing in between each of your leaves. Each time I put the piece of paper on there, I want to make sure I put a little knot in there. Otherwise, the paper garland's going to move around. And then we're going to tie it around that leaf. Make sure it's close enough. I don't want it to have slipped too far down. And pull it in just a little bit. And then there we go. And I'm going to keep doing that for each one of these leaves. While you're stringing your leaves, go ahead and turn on your hot glue gun, and that way it'll be totally heated up when you're ready to attach the holly berries to your garland. Now that we have our garland in place, it's now time for us to add in those ping pong balls. So we're gonna go ahead and grab those. They should be totally dry at this point, and we're going to add them into our decor. Okay, so from here, we've got our garland pieces, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding in our berries. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our berry and we're gonna add it in here. I'm gonna put a little bit of hot glue onto the ping pong ball, and then we're gonna attach that here onto our garland. And you can do these as close together or as spread apart as whatever floats your boat. I'm just gonna kind of place them here throughout, some on the glitter, some not on the glitter. Well, I think we got pretty close. Here's what ours, that's less than $5, looks like on the mantle versus the one that's $750. I think we did pretty good. Here's a pro tip for you when you're creating your garland. The closer together that you put your leaves and the bigger that you make them, the more full your garland will look. Also, make sure you fold your leaves as you go to help puff them up a little bit on the mantle. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave a comment below and come connect with us over inside our free Facebook community. I would love to see how you're decorating for the holidays. Until next time, I encourage you, stop just collecting and start actually creating. And remember, there's no wrong way to craft. I'll see you back next time. Bye.